makes it easy to switch and save on homeowners insurance.
The widow of the Orlando gay nightclub gunman is speaking out for the first time since the massacre last June. CBS News correspondent Vicki Barker has her story.
She knew he watched jihadist videos, but Noor Salman says she never suspected Omar Mateen was planning the attack that killed 49 people, in part because an earlier FBI investigation had concluded he wasn't a threat. Salman told the New York Times she's had to move 3 times, often can't get out of bed, and has to have family members help care for her son. Of her husband, she says, "I don't condone what he has done. I am very sorry for what happened." Vicki Barker, CBS News.
Amnesty International claims that a Sunni militia helping Iraqi forces in the campaign to drive ISIS out of Mosul has carried out revenge attacks on men and boys in captured territory. The London-based human rights watchdog group is calling on the Iraqi government to bring the militiamen to justice. Frank Sedapani, CBS News.
I'm Jay Farner, president of Quicken Loans. Mortgage rates have dropped again. In fact, recently mortgage rates have dropped to the second lowest level in history. Now is the time for you to take advantage of these historically low rates and save serious money every month by refinancing your mortgage. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is all the way down to 3.5%, APR 3.57%. Call Quicken Loans today at 800-QUICKEN to see how far we can lower your mortgage payment. For 6 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. It's a great time to refinance with Quicken Loans and save hundreds every month. This ultra-low rate of 3.5% won't last long. So call 800-QUICKEN or go to QuickenLoans.com. That's 800-QUICKEN.
Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLS ConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Hey guys, watch my new bike trick. Whoa!
Accidents happen. When they do, LaPorte Hospital can help you get on the road to recovery faster. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital. During a medical emergency, every minute matters. That's why, at LaPorte Hospital, you'll find less waiting where you need it most, in our emergency room. In fact, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. And because we're a full-service hospital, we can provide more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital.
All right, welcome back to another great installment of YoungerLife.
You tricked us. We thought we were
Live.
dancing. We thought we were going to start out by dancing.
Let me tell you this. Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver, and Rick Federici were jamming to a little Van the Man, a little brown-eyed girl. And I have to tell you, What a great day it is to be alive. Do you guys believe this? First off, hi, Katie Sarver.
Hi, Katie Sarver.
Woo!
It's been a while since you've been
Oh my
here.
gosh, I love it.
We're so excited that you're here
Thank
today.
you. I'm so happy to be here.
And you're going to be here a few times
I
before
am.
the end of the year, which we're so
Yes.
excited about.
All right, so I have to ask this question to my lady friends in the room. Everybody that knows Rick Federici knows that I love music, theater, the arts. I'm all about my good Lord and all that fun stuff in my family. All right. I like sports. I like going to sporting events, but I am so flipped out by this whole Cubs thing. Are we
My
Cubbies
gosh.
fans?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Have you
my
always been?
My parents have been. So
Yeah.
my mom in particular and my entire family. And so I was kind of just raised that way. And it's just been, there's a lot of sentimental stuff going on for our family right now. We had my cousin, unfortunately, passed away last year, and he was a diehard Cubs fan. And so this year it's like, oh man, Cubbies.
Yeah.
We have our true angel in the outfield.
That's
Yeah.
it. And that's it. Literally.
And, you know,
What about
and it's
that?
just like, oh man, he is doing this for us.
Yeah.
So it's been an awesome blessing for us
Yes.
to be able to watch the Cubbies do this.
Yeah.
And my mom was able to be with my dad and her sisters and brother-in-laws at some of the Cubs games when they played, not for the World Series,
But
but
sure. Yeah.
And so, you know, they got to be the crazy fans and
I'm
have
all
a great
about
time.
that.
So
How
this
fun.
is amazing.
Well, you know, in our house, we typically, we don't watch a lot of baseball.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't watch a lot of TV unless it's winter and we're like, you know,
Vegging.
camping out.
Yeah.
Christmas
Yeah.
Camping out in the living room. But yeah, you know,
Or it's Younger Life Live.
So we
Rewind.
don't, yeah.
Of course.
No, I am way too critical of myself to
Yeah.
watch. That would be
Boy, Rick,
rough.
you look pretty.
But you know, my husband loves football.
Yes.
So he, you know, we don't watch a lot of baseball typically, but you know, the Cubs, it's such a hometown team.
Yes.
You can't help but root for them. My grandmother has been passed away lots and lots of years, but she loved the Cubs. So it's so neat. You know, I remember many times watching the games with her, but just not, you know, really having too much invested myself. But this year you can't help but be excited about it. I mean, they are a hometown team. They're right here. And you know, it's cute to watch. Even my first grader, he's all about it, you know, and he played. And so he said, as soon as the ball is hit, he's like, that one's foul. I think
Oh
that's
my
like
God,
before
how cute they
it
are.
cracks me up.
Oh my
Before
gosh.
you even know, before it's,
Right.
you know, he's like, my husband said, wow, you are good. You know, he's like staring. He knows exactly what's going on.
That's so cool.
It is. And so it's been fun. It's been very different for us this year, you know, so.
Well, I'm
Go Cubs.
rooting for Go Cubbies tonight.
Yeah.
It's going to be the decision.
Either way,
It's gonna be serious.
you know, honestly,
Yes.
it's been an amazing,
Awesome series.
an amazing series.
Yes. I just can't believe that we're in game 7.
Yes.
I mean, it's wild.
And
Absolutely
you know,
wild.
for the naysayers out there, and I'll say this on any level, and again, we're positive energy
Oh,
here at
yeah.
Younger Life
Absolutely.
Live. We're all about that good groove in life. But that being said, let's try to stay positive, no matter if you're a fan or not. Just be happy for
Yeah.
the winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's across America be smart about the way we approach it, no matter who the winner or the person who doesn't win is. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna say loser, but you know what I mean?
Well,
Right.
you know, it's
Yeah.
very true. And because we've never been super diehard fans,
Mm-hmm.
I've pointed that out to my kids numerous times. Like my first grader, he said last night, as soon as one of the Indians were up and hit it, he's like, no. And I said, hey, listen.
Whoa.
No, I mean, really, they have both been amazing teams.
Sure.
Of course, we're going for the Cubs. They're a hometown team. It's very exciting. But they didn't get there by getting out every time they're up at bat either. Let's
Right.
get real.
Right.
They are a fabulous team and really deserve to be acknowledged as so also, you know.
What
but-
is your cousin's name?
Jeff Perry.
Jeff. Okay, cool. And obviously grandmom.
Oh, I'm a Jean. Yeah.
Okay, so they're with us, and there's
Yeah.
a ton of
Oh, yeah.
families and friends. And I thought it was pretty cool, just on a side note, how people tie in Jack Brickhouse and, you know, Harry Carey
Yeah.
and some of the history.
Yeah.
Well,
of
it's
this, you know,
funny
this whole
to
thing,
watch
you know?
how deep they'll pull from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It
So
really
cool.
is funny, and the spin on some of it is so funny. I mean, it cracks me up on every late night talk
Absolutely.
show
Oh, yeah.
and Saturday Night Live, and you know, all of them. It's just funny. So it's nice.
better than the unique political circus.
And you
we've
know
got
what? I would
going
rather
on.
watch that stuff any day.
So would I.
At least that is
Absolutely.
funny in a lighthearted way and not a mean way.
Right.
So
Couldn't agree with you more.
you know, I just heard an ad this morning where they called someone an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, my 4-year-old in the back who gets in trouble
That's what
often for
drives me
calling
nuts.
names because
Absolutely.
he's the first one to, you know, belt out a name at brother or
Typical
sisters.
little boy.
Yeah. typical handful little
Yes.
boy. And he's like, oh, he called someone an idiot. And I said, I know, isn't that mean? I mean, really, it's ridiculous.
Right.
I understand.
Stick to the issues, which no one's done.
They don't even
nationally
tell you the
and
issues.
across the board,
You
we'll
know.
just say.
Yeah.
But let's go on a groove. We got to thank the LaPorte Hospital, of course, for their great sponsorship of Younger Life Live, which, by the way, comes to a wraps at the end of this year, 2016. We take it into a new level. Mary Anthony and Rick Federici. Katie Sarver is our guest coming back.
We're going to talk about our issues today
she's a family
here.
member, right? We've got
we love
issues.
Katie. We're going to talk about our issues today.
Yes.
I did not know that November is Lung Cancer Awareness Month. So not the most fun topic, but certainly important. You know, last month we talked about breast cancer. I mean, we talked about lots of things, but breast cancer was a very big one. This month is lung cancer. And I think it's equally as important and not talked about as much, maybe, you know.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I mean, you know, with women, breast cancer is the number one cause of cancer death, cancer-related death. But in both men and women, lung cancer would be number 2. Wow. And so prostate cancer for men, when you're talking cancer-related deaths, would be the number 1 for men. So it's something that is shocking and scary at the same time. And, you know, the thing is that most of the time, approximately like 80%, I think, of the time, they claim that the death from lung cancer would be due to smoking. So, but it's not always. You know, it could be air pollution or radon exposure or, you know, those sorts of things. And so we have to take that into consideration. But in thinking of how here we are talking about, you know, it's Lung Cancer Awareness Month and smoking does cause a lot of that. We really want to focus on, you know, how can we get those individuals who are smokers, or maybe they deal with an individual who is a smoker, so they're getting the secondhand smoke. How can we get them to kick that bad habit? And so,
well, and I think too, whether it's the LaPorte Hospital, local agencies, the marketing of whether it's on radio, television, newspaper, social media, billboards, it is everywhere on how bad it is, not only for us, and I say all of us, but there's so many spider legs to it as well. I don't understand why folks continue to do it when I know there's excuses out there, and I've smoked for so many decades at this point, whatever. Right. But it's like, no, it's not whatever. Yeah. And then the other thing I want to talk about, ladies, if you don't mind, we could bring this sometime up on the show, is it feels like the Midwest, real specifically, man, I roll through Chicago, Indiana, and Michigan daily. I'm all over the country with stuff that I do. I just feel that in Northwest Indiana and Indiana, people smoke. It's like a way of life.
It certainly is an issue.
Okay, I didn't think I was crazy.
Yeah. On the hospital side, Katie, can you tell us, I mean, statistically, it just seems like that is certainly, I've read that before, that Indiana, we have a big issue with smoking here. Right. And it's a lot more common than it might be in another state, which is weird to me and surprising.
And I wish off the top of my head I could remember the exact statistic out there. But we have, you know, our health rankings are not the greatest in LaPorte County and in Stark County. And therefore, one of those big things towards those health rankings is our tobacco usage, you know, and the other thing is that tobacco usage in pregnant women, and that's causing low birth weight or premature death in infants, you know, all those sorts of things, and the damage that it can be done. And, you know, I think unfortunately people just think, well, it's just a cigarette. Let me just try just one time, you know, I'm out with my friends, you know, blah, blah, blah. Just one, but it's so addictive. And then trying to get away from it, that's really, you know, it's a hard thing to
absolutely
do, so.
I mean, it is an addiction. This is what I've talked to the kids about, my own kids, you know, saying this is why smoking is, we know it's bad for you. There's really no draw at all.
Correct.
So, you know, it's expensive, it stinks, it's gross, you know, whatever. And it's so addictive that it is so difficult. My own mother has struggled for so many years. I mean, she's always been very, I'd say, considerate smoker. She doesn't smoke around. Sure. She doesn't smoke in the cars. She doesn't smoke in the house, you know, especially when we're all around. It's just how she's always been. But she has always struggled with this and has stopped and started and stopped and started. And she always tells the kids, don't ever do it.
Agree.
You know, I've struggled my whole life to try to get away from it, you know, her whole adult life. But, you know, she said, it's crazy to me how much we're always learning. You know, 30 years ago, they didn't think cigarettes were that big of a deal.
Right.
You're
Let
absolutely
alone
right.
secondhand smoke.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, you go back even further than that, and your own doctor could be smoking in the doctor's office because they didn't know different.
Look at airplanes, hotels,
That's what I'm saying.
restaurants,
They all, you
bars,
were
just
allowed
different
to-
places.
Everywhere. I mean,
Yep.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And that was very, very common. And so as they learn more, okay, well then that's stopped. And then we find out about how terrible for us secondhand smoke actually is. For the family members that live with
Right.
smokers, you know, they just learn so much all the time that I think it's so important to point out that for those people that feel like they just can't kick it, they're always learning more. Just keep yourself educated on what they're doing and try different things. It's, you know, it's no different than any other bad habit, whether it's nail biting or you know, eating, you
Or
know,
drinking,
bad
or
drinking.
just
That's it.
stuff.
Just, you know, bad habits in general. It doesn't. It's difficult to stop, let alone the addictive part in there.
Oh,
you know, when you
absolutely.
put
You
in
throw that in,
that's
and
it.
it gets
I mean, I
even
can't
worse.
imagine.
Throw this out there between what the hospital may throw out there, but there's so much education out there, and there really has been for the last 10, 15 years, whether it's public service announcements, but the statistics and people, let's be blunt and honest, you know, this is, you know, an adult type show, but here on Younger Life Live, we try to give you facts and ways to help on so many different levels, but there's so much death around us from it. You know, it's bad now.
Right.
You know, like you were saying, Mary, 30 years ago, you may not have, you know, known all the facts. Today we do.
That's it.
So why?
And we're learning more
Right.
constantly.
Why
That's
do
why.
people continue to smoke? And Katie, I mean, obviously,
You know-
your insight to this is phenomenal.
Well, so in addition to what I do at the hospital, just on an everyday basis with going out, educating the community, providing screenings, you know, those sorts of things, I'm also a certified intrinsic coach. And so what that is I do health coaching for individuals who are attempting to get rid of these addictive behaviors or
Nice.
attempting to lose weight or maybe just maintain their current stress level, you know. So a lot of different things we're able to do health coaching on. And a lot of times what we find is that in coaching an individual who's trying to quit smoking, it's not necessarily about the nicotine, the addictive piece of the nicotine. It's something that runs a lot deeper. You know, it could be they started smoking when a family member passed away and that they can't let that go. They're, you know, so it's like deep stuff that they're trying to kind of unbury and bring back up. And we work really hard as coaches to assist those individuals with getting past those things. And so if we can uncover what the true cause behind that addictive behavior is, a lot of times we can assist that individual in quitting smoking. And we have had great success with the intrinsic coaching program and being able to do that. And so, of course, no, am I a psychologist? No, I'm not a psychiatrist. I don't prescribe medicine. I don't do any of that. It's all about empowering that individual to really think and elicit their best thinking in how can I make myself a better person? How
Well,
can I
it's
be the best
almost too,
version?
just kind of related to that. It's almost like a reality slap where
Yeah.
you're unveiling stuff and someone says, finally, like, ding.
Yes.
That's it.
It is
That's
just
it.
hit.
It is.
You know?
Well,
Yes.
it just finally clicks.
Yep,
I
and
think
that's exactly what we find is that all of a sudden they'll go, wait a second, and then all the steps go into place. Like, okay, if I don't do X, Y, or Z, then I'm set, and I can do this, and I can be successful. You know, and I don't know. I mean, you know from experience with your mom. Smokers normally have a habit. There's a routine with it. I get up in the morning, I drink my coffee, I go outside and I smoke my cigarette while my dog is out in the yard. Then I come back in, I take my shower, I get ready for work. And before I get in my car or in my car, I'm going to smoke and so it seems to be the same thing every single day.
Yes.
So break the routine. You have to do something different in order to get rid of that habit. You know, we always say it takes 21 days to make a habit. Well, it's going to take you at least 21 days to break a habit.
Wow, I never knew that,
You know,
but that makes sense.
I've heard that before.
Yeah.
It's
21
always
days.
fascinating.
Yes,
Sure.
and normally it can take a lot longer than that. You know, what we find is that a lot of times an individual who tries to quit smoking on their own or with medication or whatever the case may be, it may take them 7 tries before they
Really?
get their final quitting. You know,
Wow.
and
that's
and
incredible.
yeah, and really focusing in on a lot of times I'll say, what's your reasoning behind quitting? You know, why
Yeah.
do you want to do this? Well, because my husband doesn't like the way. put a stop on that right now. You just said because of of course we
Yeah.
want to do stuff for
Sure,
others.
sure.
Absolutely.
Certainly.
But if your reasoning behind quitting that habit isn't truly for you, we have to think about that,
Right.
you know, then let's refocus that thinking. Is there anything that comes to mind that would really be a reasoning for you as to why you want to quit smoking and, or any of the bad habits, you know, that are out there. So yeah, absolutely. It's addictive and people, well, once addicted, always addicted, you know, no, it doesn't work that way. You can change your mindset. You can change your thinking. You can change your approaches. You can change your habits, but you have to have the willpower and the energy to change the behavior.
Yeah. How does the coaching differ from a smoking cessation kind of class? Or I know there's lots, the hospital I previously had such classes.
Yes.
I'm trying to think. I know also the health department. A couple years ago, I recall reading that they were offering classes also. It might have been in October or November now, come to think of it. I don't know. But how does the coaching differ from that?
So in a class setting, which is what we are more than happy to do a class setting. So for example, if there's a group of individuals that is wanting to quit together, you know, of course, we
Okay.
would work with them to set that up. But what we have found through our years of coaching is that the individual one-on-one sessions seem to be a little bit more effective for these individuals because we can really drill down into what's the cause for you. And in a class setting, you might be a little bit more hesitant and more resistant, reluctant to share some of those things.
Agree with that.
Very true.
You know,
Yeah.
and so although the classes are fabulous because it gives you some of the tools and resources to really utilize while you're on this journey, the one-on-one approach is more of a personalized, I'm focusing, you know, specifically on, not that you're a smoker, Rick, but I'm focusing
I'm with you.
specifically on Rick, you know, and I'm here for you.
Yeah.
And
that,
I'm here
you know,
for you.
And, yeah.
How I'm curious about the coaching. So if someone were to call the hospital,
Sure.
would they would ask for you?
Yep. Ask for Katie Sarver. You can call me directly, which is 219-326-2048. And of course, if I'm not there, leave me a message with your name and what you're interested in doing, which hopefully would be the smoking cessation. And then, unfortunately, it's not covered by insurance. There is a fee to participate, but we would discuss that when they call in order to figure out, you know, are we looking at, we have single individual sessions that they can come to and see if it, you know, really works for them. Or we do packages where one's a 1-month package, one's a 3-month,
That's what I was
going to
ask you.
month.
Is this like a weekly thing? Is it?
We depending on the package that you purchase, you might meet with us 2 times in the first couple of weeks, and then it would be once a week after that for the remainder. If there's a need for more, then of course we can bulk those up. You know, if somebody says, well, I'd really like to just meet with you 2 times a week for 3 months instead of, you know, once a week for 6, then okay, we can work that out.
And I think too, you put that investment in yourself.
Yeah.
Not only is it great for you, it's great for your family. I think, you know, a lot of us that have become parents and even grandparents, your whole life changes and you look at it and it evolves and it goes by, we all know this in this room, it goes by so quickly why not try to take a step that can help you out. The stats freak me out though on that whole, you know, the whole lung cancer and stuff like that, men and women, because I think to myself, my gosh, that is like really, really crazy. That would almost want to make you stop. But I think there's a mentality, and maybe it's more the man side of life where that's not going to happen to me, because I witnessed that in friends and people where it's, you know, oh, come on, give me a break. You know, or they have that attitude. And again, I'm pointing this out not to be a goofball, but I'm pointing out to say, if that is you, or if that's you as an individual, maybe it's time to take a step back. You know what I'm saying?
Time to try something different.
Right.
Well, I'm curious, Katie, as far as in LaPorte County, Stark County, you know, in our area, is there any, can you recall ever hearing the reason behind maybe why we live in an area that is so predominantly full of smokers?
You know, I'm sure there's something out there.
I feel like
I've heard
in your own opinion.
Yeah.
I'm just curious.
Well, we have a smoke shop on like every corner.
And you want to know, I'm going to throw this out there, another spin. And again, you know, all opinions expressed here on Younger Life Live and Gerard Media LLC and AM 1420 do not reflect those of management, our advertising sponsors, or even us. But just to throw this out there, the new craze and it's all over online, but everybody's doing this vape thing.
Oh,
and that's
curious.
been going on. I mean,
Yes.
think about this.
Clinically speaking.
So
is,
clinically speaking,
crazy.
it isn't safe. Unfortunately, it's not safer from what the research is showing us
Yes.
right now. So much more research needs to be done. But yeah, I mean, I guess if you're trying to quit and that's your first step, and then you're moving to but it's just another addictive behavior.
That's
you know?
that's
And now
always
you can
been my
put-
theory
yeah.
thinking.
Yes, it's
How
just
is that
trading
in
one
me?
for one, and
Yeah.
and unfortunately, the research isn't there yet. We're not deep into it. There are organizations and companies that are doing the research to try to see, how much more. But I mean, we're talking. Haven't there been some that have like blown up in people's faces?
Well, I mean,
and
let's look at it this way too. For those that don't know the intricacies, and it's not all this way, but let's flavored, man-made, not in the United States. What type of stops are on this? The health
Right.
risk. But I literally pull up and watch people. I could be pulling up in a light, and when I say, I'll use the word drag. That's an old term.
Yes.
These people are taking drags, hits from these little contraptions that look like little pipes, and they're toking it. But I mean, what they blow out, I'm like, it has
Yes.
gotta affect. But it smells like strawberry, Mom.
yeah,
Well,
exactly.
I don't
Right.
care.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
gotta be
I
bad.
think, well, you know what,
Can't be good for you.
I've heard the argument that, maybe they do that and there's no nicotine in there. But I had asked, I said, so is there not nicotine? You can buy nicotine
Right. Yes.
flavors or something that goes in it. So what is the, I don't understand the
Right.
benefit if if you're still having the nicotine, which is still the addictive part. If it's a step down kind of thing, I understand that, because of the habit thing.
Think about it. You're ingesting this. You're breathing it in. It's going through not only your lungs, your bloodstream, and your brain.
It's all over.
Yeah,
There's
Yeah.
not
It's
enough,
everywhere.
in my opinion, in our lifetime, and you guys are way younger, but in our lifetime, there's going to be studies that come out. All I'm going to say is there are going to be studies that come out. Whatever happens with those studies, I feel sorry for the people that are out there, vaping. And
Oh,
again,
absolutely.
my opinion
Sure.
personally, not that of
Right.
the station or the shows. I just look at this. There's got to be something crazy.
Well,
there.
and my own opinion too, not saying
Sure.
that this is LaPorte Hospital stand, but the chemicals. I mean,
Yes.
is it safe to put a chemical in your system, in your body? My opinion would be no. And so just by that, it's not a natural form of.
I
there's
more or
still a
less
chemical base
would be
there,
the
so.
most concerned for my own self, thinking it hasn't been tested enough.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
I mean,
So
it's studied
agreed.
enough.
So
Yes.
agreed.
Like with anything else, I think when there is a craze on, even something like a new vitamin or
Right.
a new weight loss, I think that would be awesome if that really worked. But it's
Sign me
very
up.
scary. It's very scary because we're always learning new things, and things have to be out quite a while
Yes.
to have the numbers
Yeah.
to study.
I'll say
Right.
residual
Right.
effect. We'll
Yeah,
use those
certainly.
two words because
There you go.
everything that
Yeah.
you had just mentioned, Mary and Katie, there's something that is an effect.
Absolutely,
You know,
and
here's
you
A
won't
and
know
here's
that
B.
for a while. Are your great grandkids going to be born with a third eye? Because you
Right.
did that.
Right.
No one's gonna know.
That.
Oh,
For the
certainly
record.
not. That would be cute too, but still. No, about
Billy, focus on
specifically-
Daddy.
with the middle one. Look at me. No, I'm
Right.
kidding. So specifically though about lung cancer, I was reading. Can we discuss maybe some of the risk factors besides? There are other risk factors besides smoking,
Right,
Or
yes.
at least cigarette smoking. I mean, they
Yep.
point out
Yep.
cigarette smoking is by far
Obvious.
the leading
The leading one.
cause.
Yep. Yeah.
But cigar
absolutely.
smoking too, which I think isn't near as common as
But
cigarette
do
smoking,
people
but
inhale
still.
cigars? Because
I
that
just-
is
They don't, but
crazy.
they.
assuming
I
you
don't,
still get
I don't.
smoke.
Yeah, I think you still get some when you smoke a cigar, but cigar is still the smoke from that can still definitely cause lung cancer.
It says cigar smoking.
Yep, cigar smoking, just regular cigarette smoking, secondhand smoke is
Secondhand
another big
smoke.
one. And now they're doing a lot of research on third-hand smoke, which would be
So
the
what do you mean by
smoke
that?
that is like on your upholstery in your couch
Oh
or your
my
clothes,
gosh.
your mini blinds. Okay, so have you ever been in a smoker's home and then you see that like yellowy?
Oh, yes.
So yeah, so that's all the tar buildup
Yeah.
and whatnot on the walls, the blinds, and
Sure.
everything. So now they're starting to do some research on this third-hand smoke to see
Wow.
what are the effects of that. If I walk into a building and I'm a smoker and I've just smoked a cigarette, but the fumes of it are gone, but it's on the scent of it,
The
on my
whiff of
clothing,
it,
the whiff
you
of
know.
it.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So what sort of harm can that cause?
You
to
know
an
exactly
individual?
what
Does
comes
that
to
cause?
mind is a hotel.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
I mean, you request. I mean, I know we always request a non-smoking room, but you can tell
Right.
if it had been smoked
Oh,
in.
Oh, yeah.
And
right
the first
away.
thing we'll do is say, "I'm really sorry,
Done.
but we have a house. We have a
Yes.
room full of
Done.
kids. We need
Yep.
a different room."
Yep,
You know,
absolutely.
but
Yeah.
for someone that maybe doesn't, or request another room or something, yes, even if they're not a smoker, they're certainly still going to be coming in contact with that in the bedding, the couch, whatever's in there.
Absolutely.
The towels,
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, especially
Yeah.
if you have a little one, you know, in the case of a lot of families out there where the little one may have asthma or just be
Right. I have
affected
two
by that.
that
Yes.
are have respiratory can have respiratory flare-ups. So we have been
forbid.
very careful of those things and where we're
sure.
at, and
Sure.
have left many places saying, "Oh, sorry, we just can't."
Done.
Especially when they were much younger and it was a bigger issue. Thankfully, something that doctor strongly feels that mine will outgrow and have slowly gotten better over the years, but. They used to be triggered very easily by, burning leaves and stuff. It isn't just cigarettes,
sure.
like
Yeah.
just that smoke in general,
Absolutely
really,
agree.
really hard on them. So a couple of
Yeah.
mine. So, so besides the I didn't realize the third-hand smoking. That's pretty incredible.
Yes.
What about radon?
So, exposure to radon or asbestos. So, back in the day, flooring was, made with asbestos and whatnot. And so individuals that are exposed to radon or asbestos on a daily basis, or maybe in the past had been, they are at a little bit higher risk of developing lung cancer as well. And so, I mean, unfortunately, it might not be something that you could have necessarily changed. I mean, if it was your job or whatever, those are all sorts of things that, you have to take into consideration with
You might be even unaware.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or if you move into an old home and you're going to remodel it, of course, you want to make sure that you're taking precautions, wearing masks, maybe even calling in an individual to that deals with, asbestos removal and so on and so forth. Because a lot of times I think the insulation used to have asbestos in it, correct? And that was just in the 70s, I think, if I remember
Well,
correctly.
and I want to throw this out there, and this
So-
hits home literally as of the last couple weeks. I was talking to Mary about this on an earlier installment of Younger Life Live. Younger Life Live brought to you by the LaPorte Hospital today. Rick Federici, Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver. We're discussing all things, relating to lung cancer and just different things. But I want to throw this out there. Did you ever do a project where you were putting up or you were with someone that was doing, and you have to be very careful because the masks came into handy, very handy, drywall, where you're taping and then you're sanding, you put the mud on.
Yes.
I would say if you do not have glasses and proper mask and stuff, I wouldn't even touch that because you have to listen because I just thinking of things going into your openings, your skin, your nose, your mouth, and you could really feel it and see it. You
yeah.
could see it.
Well,
I'm
then
just
you're
throwing
like
that out there.
coughing afterwards,
Yeah.
and all of that. So
Yeah.
you know that stuff has gotten in your body. And the other thing would be like harsh chemicals.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and I think of individuals in the cleaning industry or in an industry where they might be environmental services, those sorts of things.
Like
and
exposed
to it on a regular basis and not wearing any sort of protective gear. I mean, thankfully, normally in hospital organizations in particular, you're required to wear protective gear if you're going to wear or if you're going to utilize harsher chemicals. And so that's a bonus. And I would think that most companies out there would be protecting
It would be a liability, I would imagine.
Yes. And, we all have those safety data sheets and materials data sheets that explain here's the risks associated with that. And so really educating yourself on those, but even home chemicals, like let me read up on this and see, what are the risks that they're saying from utilizing
There
this
are
and stuff.
many risks.
Yeah.
Chemicals to say you're going to scour out your shower.
Sure.
You have to make sure that it is well ventilated. I mean, you can literally... you can die,
right?
Because you're breathing in these chemicals,
right,
and it cuts off your oxygen supply.
Yeah,
and it happens quickly. You have to really know what you're doing, and read these things. The problem is there's warnings on everything.
Correct.
So people get you kind of just shut
you
that
get
off.
warned out.
You do.
Yes,
you
you're just like
I'm done.
whatever.
You just kind of
Yes, exactly.
sure. Every warning
Especially
says
men.
you could die.
Right, you could-
know what I mean?
exactly,
And
yeah,
every warning
yeah.
says that.
Yep.
But
it's
when
like,
we're
I mean, really, let's think about that.
When we're talking about breathing, the
Yes.
air that we're breathing, you need to be smart. The masks are a great idea. If you're going to be in say you have a tight shower area and you don't have the option to open a window, then make sure you maybe run a fan in there, wear a mask masks just to help, and do it in little sections if you have to.
Correct.
You know, you need to make sure you're doing good. I really wanted to point out something about radon, because radon is more common than people really realize. It is a clear, odorless gas that it can be a serious issue. So there are test kits, and there are actually people you can hire to come out and test your house. You know, similar to like we have our smoke detectors are all CO2 testers too. You can get a home kit to test for radon, and it will give you a range if you need to have it fixed or not, or if the radon is too high, because consistently breathing that in and not even knowing it, you're not going to have any direct effects that you're going to feel or see or taste or smell, can increase your chances greatly of lung cancer. And that's a big deal. That's scary.
Right. Well, and I know in like purchasing a home, a lot of times they'll require that you have, if it's an older home in particular, they'll require that you have a radon test before the insurance company will say, yeah, we'll insure this house, or,
the inspection
has
the
to
inspection
come
has gone through the roof with what they're checking in your attic, in your crawl space, in your walls, the filtration systems. I just went through
basements. They say
it's
basements.
crazy.
Actually, the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency claims that radon is the second leading cause of lung cancer. It's the leading cause in non-smokers, but the second leading cause overall, because smoking clearly would
correct.
be
Yeah, that's that one that
80%
that's
of it.
scary.
Yeah. That's scary business.
Yes.
I
exactly.
think it's
not something you want to mess with,
definitely to have
sure.
check out. And other outbuildings and stuff, it says that there can be. Typically, it's not enough to do any harm. But if you haven't ever had your radon checked that you can recall, get a kit. I can't imagine. I'm sure our friend Dennis over at Ace Hardware, he can help us out, and I'm sure they sell them, or call a company. And there are ways to fix it. That's what I want people to know too. You can fix it, but why not make sure that
throwing this out there too. And if you're dealing with a home, buying a home, renting, whatever it may be, your real estate agent or provider can also probably point you in the right direction. I think that's a good, just a good piece of information, because again, it's the safety of yourself, your family, breathing and stuff like that. And again, we're finding out more and more as things evolve.
Yes.
And God forbid, especially for our young ones and our babies and our grandchildren and our family members.
Right. Katie, can you share with us, do you know if family history is a risk factor?
It is, yes. Family history is a risk factor, so is air pollution. And so unfortunately, those are things that you can't necessarily control. If you have a family history of various cancers, or you have a family history of lung cancer in particular, you need to be fully aware. Unfortunately, though, the symptoms are not really there, for lung cancer. And that it a lot of times will just come off of, I have a cold, or I have a cough, or, and maybe you're not getting the right care for that. And so making sure that you share your signs and symptoms with your physician of what you've been having. And if you've been having them for a long time or an extended period of time, you definitely want to share that information too. And so really just overall being aware of you and your own body and how you react to different things, and knowing, have I been exposed to any of this stuff previously? If you worked in an industry where you had a lot of chemical exposure, so on and so forth, and now more recently, I'm 65 years old, or 67 or 70, and I've all of a sudden developed this strange cough or discomfort in my lungs or whatever, you want to share that with your doctor.
Please.
For sure, 100%, because those are things that could potentially be an alarm for, do we have some sort of issue within our lungs here? And so
someone just wanted me to ask Katie or Mary, do you guys have any, Kevin is listening online right now, symptoms? You had said symptoms. Are there symptoms that, we could kind of throw out there that one may say that you're not feeling well? You say to ask your physician, like you said, the extended cold, stuff like that. Is there anything out there?
Lung cancer is a tricky one. From everything I've read,
me too.
And that's what I'm saying. That's a great piece of information right there.
Yes, it's very, very hard. So usually symptoms don't appear until your disease is already like advanced and in a stage that unfortunately isn't necessarily curable at that point. And so, but just making sure, like I said, if you have some sort of infection in your chest or your lungs, and you've been exposed to, you are a smoker, you've been exposed to asbestos, those sorts of things, then you definitely at that point in time need to check.
The coughing.
The coughing, a heavy coughing, and it's something that is persistent, it doesn't go away. One thing that we do offer at LaPorte Hospital is we have what's called a low dose lung screening.
Really?
Yes. And so there's guidelines, and I'm going to read the guidelines for that.
Do.
You do have to have a physician order for it. It is covered by Medicare and most insurances. So that's a big bonus to a lot of individuals.
You did say it has to have a doctor. You have to
have a physician order, yes. Okay. And there's a it's called a shared decision making visit. So there's a visit with your physician prior to that low dose screening, lung screening, that you would work with your physician to discuss, is this the right thing for me? And so the guidelines are that you are 55 to 74 years old, you're in fairly good health, which basically means you have no symptoms of having lung cancer. You have at least a 30-pack year smoking history. So what that means is for the last 30 years, you've smoked at least 1 pack a day for 30 years. So 30-pack year smoker. Okay.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
and
a lot
then
of cigarettes.
and are either still smoking or have quit smoking within the last 15 years. And those would make you eligible for participation in a low dose lung screening. And again, it's, you work with your physician to see if you're eligible for this screening. I don't know all of the details behind what goes on in the screening. It's done through our diagnostic imaging group, which is their fabulous team to work with.
Now, when you say diagnostic imaging, that's like the hip new
CT
way to see things.
Yes, yeah.
That's cool.
The X-ray.
Yes,
Right,
your
no, it's
X-ray
exactly
team, your ultrasounds.
We had Dr.
Your
Pillai
CTs.
on.
Yeah.
He's fabulous.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
He's awesome.
Yay, awesome.
Radiologist.
Yes, we love our physicians. So,
and he just joined us a month ago.
Oh,
he was
good.
fantastic.
Great to hear.
We were discussing actually women's imaging at the time, but I mean, he's a radiologist. He can read any sort of diagnostic imaging. So I think that is a perfect way if you do have any concerns, or you just think I have maybe, been a smoker quite a few years and I'd rather just kind of make sure, talk to your doctor about that. And we've said this a zillion times over the last year, and it's so true. If you don't feel comfortable talking to your doctor about these things, it's time to find a different doctor.
Absolutely.
The LaPorte Hospital has a fabulous Find a Doc.
Yes.
We've discussed, we've used, and it is the best way. You can put in kind of what you're looking for. It tells you how to contact them. It gives you the options locally, and even some that are further out, not locally, but to find our local doctors right here, and it gives you their office numbers. It tells you if they're taking new patients.
Exactly.
You need to find someone that you're comfortable talking to about, maybe quitting smoking. Maybe it's a totally different thing. Maybe it is, mammogram or, any women's health care that can be very difficult to find someone you're comfortable with, but it's so important.
Well, and one other thing, something that resonated with me when I moved back to this area and I started working for LaPorte Hospital. I was expecting my second child at the time, and I was in need of a new OB doctor. And I was kind of scared. I was used to the person that I had.
That's hard.
Absolutely.
And, you're making that change. But one thing that I love about all of the staff that works with our physicians is they know their doctors. And so you can call and say, I'm looking for somebody that can, deal with X, Y, Z, or this is the type of person I am. I'm really shy. I'm not very, and not like you're like trying to hook up with someone, but it's just they can say, you want to see Dr. X. Yeah, because they're very good at this. They love sports, and they'll make you feel comfortable.
Yeah.
And that to me just really, it hits home for individuals because they can personalize almost that experience for you. And I have always found that the doctors at our organization, whether you work for LaPorte Hospital or not, they just take their time with you. And that is one thing that, people want. They don't want to feel like they're pushed through. And that it's difficult for a physician because they do see a lot of people. But they get to know you. And they get to know what care you need and how to work with you in order to keep you well.
The next set of commercials for LaPorte.
Oh, yay! It's
so true.
They get to know you.
It's just
they get to know you. True. Exactly.
It's always concerning to me when I hear someone say, "Oh, I would not tell my doctor that." Then you need a new doctor.
Yes, I
it just
agree.
bothers me. I
Yes.
think that's
I
how
agree.
can you be your best your own advocate.
Right.
If you aren't comfortable telling your doctor, you have to be able to
You
talk
have
to
to
your
ask
doctor
questions.
about the things that you
Yes.
don't want to tell
Yep.
other people. You have to be able to tell your doctor those things. And
At the end of the day,
It's-
he or she or they have heard it all.
Right.
Well,
oh,
you know,
exactly.
well, they
Let's
certainly
be
There's
honest.
have.
nothing that they haven't heard.
Exactly.
It's so true, but it's also the only way you're ever going to find out maybe something is a little bit off about
Mm-hmm.
you, and you might know it, but you can't figure it out if you don't share those details with your doctor.
Right.
Agreed.
How are they ever going to know you that well? Number one, to spot those things if they get worse, and two, to be able to help you figure out what might be going on.
Well, and the thing
know.
is that by sharing some information with them, if you unfortunately have a bad diagnosis, it could be something that's caught early on.
That's it.
Versus waiting to see, well, let me see if these symptoms.
Yep.
I mean, my husband gets on me all the time for this because I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. And he's like, no, really. I think it's time that you go see somebody.
Yeah.
And, lo and behold, it normally, if you have something going on, trust your gut. Trust your gut. Go see a doctor.
I
go
like
see
that
someone.
theory, trust your gut, but also I would say more times than not, 50 to 60% of the time, most men and women, especially if they're busy moms and dads,
Yeah.
working, family, they're doing a million things. Yeah, I'll get to that.
Yes.
I'm just tired.
It's easy to
I'm
do.
just-
We all,
it
we
is
all
so
do
easy
it,
to do.
you know.
Yes, it really
And
is.
it's scary to consider that it might be,
Oh.
our imaginations run wild anyways. And so
Yes.
when you're not the most rational,
Right.
and it's easy to just ignore it and
Right.
say, I don't want someone to tell me the bad news that I'm afraid of. But it is
Right.
important. And even lung cancer it still is. It's extremely serious, very, very scary. If you don't go and don't talk to someone until it is bad enough that you're coughing up blood, which is another sign.
Yeah. Yes.
But
Yeah.
that's a more serious sign.
Yes.
It's more difficult to diagnose. I mean, it's more difficult to treat once it's gotten that bad. Like
Correct.
with any cancers, it says though that lots of people can survive lung cancer.
Correct.
You need to catch it early enough to be able
Yeah.
to, be
Yes.
much more proactive in doing some of these things, that we can do. So as far as for someone, let's just say we know quitting smoking would be an enormous feat all in itself.
Oh, absolutely.
So if they contact you at the hospital, are there regular right now classes set up, or this is just something they would call to set up?
They would just call to set up. So they're
Okay.
individual sessions, one-on-one sessions. If they have them and their spouse that need to do it together, we do coaching in that aspect as well.
Okay.
And then we do it on their time. So I'll be 100% honest. I have coached at 5:30 in the morning, 5 in the morning, 7 at night. It's what works best for the client at that point in time. What's best for the patient.
Let's take a quick time out here, take care of some business.
We have a fun little, it's not really
I
fun,
know,
but a
we're gonna
little
do-
eye-opening
No,
experiment.
Let's do it. A fun, eye-opening experiment. We'll tie them both together.
There we go.
Coming up next, Rick Federici, Mary Anthony, Katie Sarver, of course. We are Younger Life Live. We'll be right back in less than a minute. Thanks for tuning in, of course, today. We appreciate it.
Hey guys, watch my new bike trick. Whoa!
Accidents happen. When they do, LaPorte Hospital can help you get on the road to recovery faster. With our 30 minutes or less ER service pledge, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital. During a medical emergency, every minute matters. That's why, at LaPorte Hospital, you'll find less waiting where you need it most, in our emergency room. In fact, we will work to have you initially seen by a medical professional in 30 minutes or less. And because we're a full-service hospital, we can provide more care if you need it. Less waiting, faster care. The 30 minutes or less ER service pledge at LaPorte Hospital.
All right, we are back.
All right.
As we wrap it up on the back end of Younger Life Live, I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
Katie Sarver
And
is
this
our
is Katie
special
Sarver,
guest.
yeah.
I love her. She is absolutely awesome. I love her to pieces, and a wealth of knowledge. She's with LaPorte Hospital. And what is your true title here?
So I'm the manager of wellness outreach with the organization. So we do, in my department, it's very small but mighty. We just have 3 of us, myself included. And we run our community programs such as the Little Fish Club, which teaches kids how to feel important, stay healthy. We're in 2nd grade and
fabulous.
4th grade. And that's, in and of itself is an amazing program. We absolutely love doing that one. And then we also provide provide screenings to our community members. And we're very happy that we have the support of the Healthcare Foundation of LaPorte, because they're able to help us fund these programs. And then
we've had them on too numerous times.
Yeah,
it really is amazing. Some of the screenings that the
yes.
hospital offers.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I love it.
partners with the health department occasionally on different things.
Yep. And we partner with them for help. We were just at the New Prairie High School doing health fair for the students there.
Very awesome.
So that was awesome.
Yeah.
Being able to educate them on a variety of topics. Sexual health, tobacco cessation.
Oh, yes. This is all affecting all of us.
So, and we worked with the Purdue Northwest nursing students located at the
We
PNC
had them in as
campus.
well.
We did too. We had
Yeah.
CNW them.
It's
fabulous.
so awesome, the collaborations that LaPorte Hospital does with all of these organizations in the community, and the impact that we can make on the community. So,
Agreed.
And then in addition to that, my department, we also run our internal colleague wellness program, which is phenomenal. And I'm just going to brag about that, because I think
of
it's
course.
great. So.
Well, listen, anything that involves Katie Sauer is awesome.
Yeah, I
Right?
know. It's so
Right?
true. I mean, well, and that's why
thanks.
we can have you join us on so many different levels, because wellness outreach covers so many
covers
things
so much.
Agreed.
Exactly.
for the betterment of all of us.
Yes.
And it
Yeah.
is
And you're
really
fun, and you have
well-being.
energy.
And that's why we love
and you're
you.
a hip mom.
yeah,
thank you.
she has a
thank
sick
you.
baby right now on the mend.
Well,
but-
yeah, he's on the mend now. He's back in school, which is good.
Good.
So, yeah.
Good.
I
Yeah,
don't know
that
what
stinks,
was, but-
So
Yeah.
we do. You want to tell us a little bit about this?
Yeah. Okay, so we're
experiment?
going to do this fun little exercise, and anybody who's at home, don't do this in your car, please. Because
Okay.
I wouldn't want
I
any
like that.
accidents
Good
happening.
attitude.
Yeah.
But,
Covering
if
our
you're at
butts.
home and you have a straw available, this little exercise, and we actually do this with our fourth graders when we talk about tobacco awareness. You'll take a straw, and you can cut it in half if you need to, or so that it's smaller. But essentially, it's going to kind of simulate what your lungs would feel like if you are a smoker.
Okay.
So how difficult it is to breathe.
Guys, go for a group shot here, because we're all going to have straws in our mouths. There you go.
So you're going to place the straw in your mouth.
Okay.
And then you're going to be breathing through the straw. Okay. So you're going to breathe through the straw, and you're going to have to plug your nose, and you're going to walk quickly or jog in place for 10 seconds. Okay, so here we go. Okay. Do you feel like there's it's kind of tight and it's a little bit harder to breathe?
I'm a little claustrophobic, so I feel
I'm going,
I'm
okay.
swimming and can't
Things
get
are
to the
turning
top.
black. I see stars.
Not
Mommy.
I. No,
Mommy.
but I just
I know CPR.
Hello.
we learned
I think
CPR
I'm just
hands
gonna have to
only.
faint.
Yay.
Yeah.
So that just kind of shows you it's a little bit more difficult to breathe. You're breathing through this teeny
That is
tiny
tough.
Yeah.
straw.
Which
I
just
got lightheaded.
it's confining. I mean, you know what I mean? I felt like swimming
Wow.
for me.
Yeah.
Felt like swimming where I needed to get back up to the surface because I felt like I couldn't take a deep
Yes.
enough breath.
Absolutely.
Not,
Yes. Absolutely.
You know, and
I don't like
just,
that feeling.
No, I don't either. But it's, that was a fun little exercise that is at an elementary level. I love that you point out you do that with elementary students. I think thank you so much. I think it's
Thank you.
important because it's something simple that you can.
Yes, absolutely. We did it with our high school students this last week too, and it was really interesting. So the pediatrics department came with us to the health fair, which was awesome to have them there. And some of the nurses were there, and so they did this with some of the high school kids. And it was funny because they say they don't even give the kids a choice. It's like, come on up, here's a straw, here's a straw. Plug your nose, put the straw in, let's get going.
Well, they
and
love
they're
that
like,
kind of stuff. Well,
yeah, oh yeah. So, and then just to watch them, I can't do this anymore, or it's hurting my,
Yeah.
and well, that's, if you were a smoker, that's what you would feel
That's
like.
normal.
If you're going on the football field and you're, taking a few puffs before you go, it's going to be harder to, people, I think, get this feeling of, well, if I'm doing it all the time, then my body will be used to it and I'll be able to, it doesn't work that way. You're really causing true damage to your internal organs.
Well, and the lungs are amazing because the lungs can help, heal themselves to a degree if you stop smoking.
Yep.
They will repair themselves,
Yeah.
and it's amazing.
Well, we see drops in blood pressure and improvements in just overall ability to breathe and your appetite coming back. I mean, the individuals who say to me when they've quit smoking, I never knew this tasted like this, or because my taste buds have been so damaged. And and so
you don't taste anything.
So it truly is. It's amazing what your body can.
Can I throw this out there, not to be weird, but I've made this comment. And again, with the utmost respect to everybody listening and viewing right now on Younger Life Live, my opinion, who would want to kiss someone that is having a smoke or having a cigar? Again, to each his own. It's not my thing. Even if you have two smokers, it's like, okay, I'm kissing an ashtray, and I don't want that.
Yeah.
Come here, honey. Give me a kiss.
Right. There is help out there. That's the point. There is help out there. It's okay if you've always been a smoker. I mean, it's not okay, but if you have and you're ready to change, do so, and you don't have to do it alone.
No, there's help out there for you. The Indiana Tobacco Quit line is a free resource there. You can reach out. That's 1-800-QUIT-NOW. We have our health coaching, smoking cessation coaching that you can do. There's other outlets out there. There's talk to your physician. There's patches. There's medication. There's the gums. If that's the way that you need to go, find what works for you. That's the biggest thing. Just because it worked for me does not mean it's going to work for you.
And if the first thing doesn't work for you, try something else.
Yeah, don't
Katie
give up.
Sarver for president.
Don't give up.
We say it to all of our great guests we love.
Yeah.
Way better choice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
I'd love to have her back. I know that we've got some other
she's going to be
great
joining us
shows coming up.
next week.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And we'll surprise you with that one.
Yes.
So we'll see.
It'll be good, of course.
Yeah,
Of course
yes,
it is.
the three of us.
Thank you
the
for your
powerhouse.
time. So
Absolutely.
appreciate
Love
it.
being
You're
there.
a wealth
Thank
of
you.
knowledge.
Thank
I love
you.
working with you, young Mary.
I love
Anthony,
working
as well.
with you too. Yep, this
so
has been
great.
great. And I hope that if nothing else, that we've just made someone out there at least think, okay, maybe I'll try again.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah, it never hurts to try. Like I said, 21 days to make a habit, gonna take at least 21 days to break it.
There's a great way to end it. I'm Rick Federici.
I'm Mary Anthony.
And I'm Katie
Thanks.
Sarver.
Thanks, Katie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Woo! Great
you.
job, ladies.
Awesome.
AM 1420, WIMS, Michigan City, a Girard Media Company station.